Yo, GameBro here, and this is my newest Let's Play. I've decided to do another Virtual Console game, the only other one I have. I will be playing through Sonic the Hedgehog. Start. As you can probably should tell, this is not the Sega Genesis version, but the Sega Master version, which came out a few months after the one for the Genesis or Mega Drive. This is pretty different. It's a lot of similar stages, but the designs are different enough to make this worth picking up. There's also a Game Gear version of this, as you can probably tell. This is pretty much the same as that. Well, the demo's really bad at playing its own game. But anyway, let's start. Enough of that. Let's go through Green Hill Zone. How fitting, given that this is the first Sonic game. Again, this is just like the Sega Game Gear version, except you can see a lot more. Camera zoomed out a lot more, as you can probably tell. Although one thing that Sega should have fixed is that you see more on the left Sonic than the right, even though you'll obviously be going right a lot more. So that was not so in the Game Gear version, where most of what you see is right ahead of you, as opposed to being behind. But yes, a walkthrough of the Genesis game is common as hell, but not as much the Master System or Game Gear games. So I thought this would be a fine choice. Of course, this game will not take very long, 4 parts at most. Unless I'm like really sucking, it'll require more. Yes, the controls there. Yeah, this controls like the Genesis version, except Sonic picks up momentum a little more quickly. It's different, and again, it's different enough that it is worth buying. Stages are different enough. Jump on those monitors. Those are your checkpoints. This game also has a lot of the same enemies. Not as much variety, but still a good enough variety. Throughout these stages, there'll be hidden Chaos Emeralds, which of course did not turn into Super Sonic, because the other versions did not either, and that was a fail on my part. Some of them are pretty obvious, others are, you kind of have to look all around the level in order to find them. Boing! And the same problem with how much you can see, you see much of what's behind you instead of in front of you. Even if you're heading to the left, take that Buzz Bomber. Okay, you can also go through special stages, which of course have nothing to do with emeralds, but extra lives. You have to have between 50 and 99 rings. If you collect one more than 99, you'll get an extra life and reset back to 0. You can have rings no more than 2 digits. Exclamation point means you get to head to the bonus stage. And of course, this game keeps track of points, but not many people really care about those, and I don't particularly care about them either. Especially since most of these games don't really don't keep track of your score anywho, so whatever, you have to keep the system on forever. Boing, boing. Sega. You can also find a continue. Those will especially be helpful. If you run out of lives, it'll give you 3 extra. And try to collect at least 100 rings. So obviously you can get extra lives too. and Eggman. Going through those signs, sometimes you'll also get 10 extra rings, or which are useless except for points, of course, and an extra life. I'm pretty sure they're random. Here we go, first boss stage. Almost all of these have 0 rings, so you have to be perfect. This boss fight is really easy, especially in the Game Gear version, where you can actually hit Eggman. Yes, I'm calling him Eggman, even if this is an old school game. But in this version, you have to wait till the machine descends, until he descends, so you can hit him a few times. A few of the bosses in the Game Gear version, they're the same, but they are a little different. Like how I explained, you can just keep wailing on him as going back and forth in the Game Gear version, but not this one. On to the next zone. Of course, this does not hold a candle to the Mega Drive version, but it's still a pretty fun game on its own. For a game that's released in for an 8-bit game that is released in 1991, it has aged pretty well. Sonic games are definitely like the 8-bit, 16-bit games have aged well more than most other Sega games, because as much as I like Sega, I have to admit, some of their Genesis games, Mega Drive games I had a lot of fun with as a kid, just haven't aged too well. Like Golden Axe, Super Hang-On, the first Streets of Rage, although the second one is still a great game to this day. Nintendo games seem to age better than Sega games, but Sega games, oh, I would have hated myself if I would have fallen off the bridge. Still have aged better than most of the other companies' games. I want that extra life. I ain't gonna miss it. And there is another Chaos Emerald. Saw for a second there. That's one of those you can very easily pick up, as long as your time is not terrible. Screw you, Eggman. I also own the Game Gear version on Sonic Mega Collection Plus, but I just want to play the Sega Master System version better. I had a little more fun with this because it's not as unfair. I mean, granted, Game Gear version Sonic 1 was nowhere near as unfair as the Game Gear version of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which was actually the first game I owned, and it was a bit of a slowdown, but I was actually kind of glad there. That was a fun game, Sonic 2 for the Game Gear, but that's like a terrible choice of a game to introduce someone to Sonic. Anyways, why should there be side-scrolling and levels in Sonic, I must ask? You know, really slowing him down. But whatever. There aren't many of these. And by not many of these, this is the only one. I forgot how much rings I have, but I think I missed my chance to get through the bonus stage again. Whatever. I'm doing well enough. Monitors, if rings give you 10, as you can probably tell. Still side-scrolling. This is pretty slow. Though not a bad level by any means. Careful of these bridges. You'll fall to your death if you are not careful. Again, missed my chance, but whatever. And of course, an Eggman sign because this... yeah. Well, whatever. Boss time. That didn't take long to get to him. So, what I recommend doing is jumping on Eggman once and then not die like I did. Like, jump on the other side of him so you will not get hit. Definitely one of the weaker boss fights, but whatever. Just gotta be patient, not have the personality of Sonic. You know, impatient. Come on, I can do this. I am doing well, but then again, not doing well for a second will screw me up, so that was a poor choice of words. Okay, so let's free the animals and on to the next zone we go. Dun, 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 dun. I think I'll go through one more act before I call it a video. Into the jungle, we've got fun and games. We got everything you want, honey, we know the names. Friendly, has the same enemies from the first game. Careful of those piranha robots. And in this level, in where the logs fall from the waterfall, certain point you'll be able to find a Chaos Emerald. Careful, careful, careful. So far not bad. I think this is the point where I need to ride on the log for a bit. Yep, this is the right area. I remember the locations pretty well. Come on, screen. Screen does not want to work with me. And there it is, what do you know? Here I'm gonna keep running on this just for the sake of it. But not for too much longer, I assume. You know what? Never mind. But can I reach up there? I hope so. So, off we go. Whee! The spin dash also works a bit differently. Like, if you keep rolling, you'll still at least go the speed of your running, whereas in the Genesis version, You can't just keep spinning. You just keep slowing down. Unless you actually start running again. Yes, bonus stage. Why not? This game isn't super hard. Especially not on this version, since again, you can see more. Don't have a lot of time to waste. Only have a minute. Boing, boing, boing. Springs everywhere, and there's a continue. I don't want to miss that. Trying to press the jump button at the right time, so you can bounce a little higher. Will I be able to collect enough rings? Shall see very shortly. Boing! Bouncing, bouncing. Okay. Let's go. Oh man, that was way too close. Very good. And I have 9 lives. Well, I should go through more of the jungle in the next part. This is GamePro. See you all in the next video.